Good evening, guys. Jim Allen here, and I am glad and excited to be talking with attorney Nicole M. Scott about a number of issues, a number of what we call family law. Okay, so I'll be talking with attorney Nicole M. Scott, and I just sent her the invite. And so once she received the invite, I'll bring her on and we'll be talking about family law as it relates to child custody, child support, divorce, and a whole host of other things. So definitely join us and put your questions in the comments. I know you guys have questions. We have a lot to cover and a lot of important stuff to cover, especially with our dealing with our courts and the whole COVID-19 situation. People want to know, how is it working? Yeah, exactly. Should I even file for divorce during this time? And so we have a lot of questions to cover. And once the attorney Scott comes on, we'll get to your questions. I'm going to ask her some questions as well, and we should have a great conversation. So definitely stay tuned. The attorney will be on in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, and hang loose, guys. All right, that's even better. That's perfect, perfect, perfect. So yes, attorney Nicole Scott she's been with me a number of times live, and so we're doing it again just for you. Get this information to you. You need this information. You need to know what's going on about child support. Um, and hold on one moment, guys. All right. Okay. One moment. Attorney Scott, try waving at me as well. Hold on. All right. Attorney Scott should be with us shortly. So definitely hang loose. She's connecting. Attorney Scott.
Hey, let me try to set my phone up. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I gotta reset mine too. Uh,
I don't
yes.
know.
I'm hoping my head isn't cut off.
A little bit.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So when you talking, kind of like getting the feedback.
I'm not, cause
You're not.
mm-hmm.
No feedback on your end.
Not on my end.
Okay. Uh, do you have any headphones?
Let me see. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Because this same thing happened with Maria Packard's camp, and when they got working, perfect. Hi, Liz. Okay. Hang on, guys. Hang on with us. Can you guys see my head? Is my head chopped off? You guys just comment and let me know. Hey, I can see your head. Your head isn't chopped off.
Okay. Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, that's way better.
Okay.
That is way better. No feedback. So I had to do the same thing with Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas people.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Once they got the headphones, smooth sailing. So how are you, attorney?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. Staying COVID free.
Yes.
Yes. Can you see me? Is my head chopped off?
Your eyes, you're gonna have to bring it up a little bit.
Okay, so you can only see. You can't.
I
Okay.
can see I can see this part of your face.
Oh wow. What about now?
Nope. No, that's worse.
That's even worse.
There you go. There you go.
That's better.
Yes.
Cool. Great. It just look. I mean, I still look like I'm chopped off to me, but
No, you're
I
fine.
guess it's
That's better.
perfect. Perfect. So let's just jump right into it. Um, I know you're busy, and
Yes.
so yeah, I had a few people saying, "Man, I can't wait. I can't wait for this conversation. I got stuff I want to ask."
Oh boy.
Well, let's start with child custody. Let's start with child
Okay.
custody. And what is it exactly?
Child custody. So in Illinois, we don't call it custody anymore. It's called
Okay.
allocation of parental responsibility. So essentially, it just means that
Wow.
I know it's a real big word, kind of for the
Right,
same
that's a
thing,
long
but
name.
it is. But I like it. I like it because it kind of says, all right, we're going to divide parenting up into four main aspects. You got education, religion, healthcare, and extracurricular activities. And, we're going to say most of the time, most people will just jointly make those decisions, right? But say, for
Hmm.
example, if dad is really big in health, extracurricular activities, he's like gung ho with it, and mom doesn't really care, she can give him sole allocation or sole decision making in regards to the extracurricular activities, and then they can jointly decide everything else. So it kind of breaks
Right.
it up to show like who has what strong points. Um, if mom is big on education, mom is a teacher, let mom handle the education aspect, but we can jointly decide everything else. Or we can jointly decide everything. So I like that aspect because it kind of show it doesn't custody. When you think of custody, I instantly see like two people going back and forth fighting about everything. But when you think of
Right.
allocation, it's like a puzzle piece. Like let's put these pieces together in order to make this a whole concept in order to do whatever is in the best interest of the children. So
So
yeah.
with allocation, like you said, the whole education piece. So that means if it's around mom's time to take the child to school, I have to be on time for that to work or
So it's the allocation. So allocation is broken up into two pieces. So like custody, it used to be broken into physical and then legal custody. Um, Allocation is the same kind of way. You have your parenting time and then you have your decision making. So decision making is what school are we sending our child to? Are we sending them to private school? Are we sending them to public school? Who's going to be responsible for going to the parent teacher conferences and just making sure that they're doing everything that they need to do as far as advancing their education. Healthcare, what doctors are they going to? How often do they have to go to the doctors? Who's keeping up with the appointments? Religion, typically most people don't argue about that, but if you have two different religious backgrounds, then what religion are we exposing our child to? Are they going to be introduced to the religious cultures? Are they going to be going to religious ceremonies and things of that nature? um, Extracurriculars, who's going to enroll them in extracurriculars? Who's going to take them to extracurriculars? Who's going to go to the games? Who's going to go to the events? um, who's going to keep the other parent informed of the events? So that's kind of how it breaks it down. And so if they both agree on both being able to make the decisions in regards to that, then perfect, right? They can talk to each other about what extracurricular or whatever is going to be the child is going to be engaged in. They can talk to each other about it, or one parent can make that decision and the other parent can just be informed of that decision. So it kind of breaks it down into what's been happening already, and um, if not that, then what's the best in the best interest of the child moving forward, or who has what strong points, what parent is stronger in what. So like I said, I like it because it helps you kind of break down, you know, instead of thinking, oh, well, I'm the one parent, I'm going to make the decisions and you're not going to make the
right.
decisions. I think it kind of breaks it down to really show what's in the best interest of the child.
So is this new? It's
Not
no, it's been
really,
happening.
not no, it's been that way for a
Well,
little
let me
bit.
ask you this. Does the allocation work if one person has like sole custody, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, so you can have what's called sole allocation of parental responsibilities.
Oh,
So
so no more
one parent
custody,
can make
sole allocation.
right. So one
Okay.
parent can
See,
make all the
I'm still
decisions.
in the old school.
Yeah, most people are. Most people are. So one parent can make all the decisions. That's
Okay.
what sole allocation would be.
Okay. So in the sole allocation aspect, the other party doesn't really have. They can mention things, but it doesn't have any legal precedence.
Right, right, right. So they're when somebody has sole allocation, the other parent has to be informed of what's going on. So
Okay,
that's all they have
that
is they have to be informed.
that's fair in a
Yeah,
sense,
if it
you know.
works,
But
if that's how it's set
right,
up, yeah,
right. So even though they may disagree, still it's the law. It's not going to change
right,
anything simply because they
right,
disagree.
right,
Wow.
exactly.
Okay. So no more custody is now allocation. See, I was like
Yes.
totally out of the loop. Man, I just learned something new. Write that down. No more custody allocation.
We need to write it
Right.
down for. You got an intact home. You need to keep it that way.
Well, no, it's just sometimes when I talk to other people, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
helps me. So instead of me saying out custody again to another lawyer, they may be like, bro, it's allocation now. It's not custody.
I mean, it's. I like the new term. I think it's absolutely helpful because
Okay.
I think custody kind of brings about a negative connotation to the process.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
allocation or APR, we call it APR, right? Allocation of parental responsibilities, APR,
Hmm.
for
Yeah,
short.
custody does sound like, you're in custody.
You about
Like
to fight, right? You
you're
about to
right.
fight, yeah. Like it's kind of
Exactly.
it's a battle right now,
Exactly.
So I like it.
Yeah. But let me ask you about child support.
Okay.
And again with the whole scenario of three or four baby mamas, you know, who's going to get the most out of this guy's check, or is it just distributed evenly?
So before it used to be, and it kind of still is, first in time, first in right. So it used to be
Okay.
basically whoever was the oldest child would get kind of the more, and then it kind of trickles down from
Right.
there. I
Right.
say it's kind of the same way because what happens now is both parents' incomes are included. So that's why I say it depends, right? So you got one kid, your first baby mom makes 200,000, right? I'm just throwing numbers out
Mhm.
there. You make, 50, 60,000, and y'all have almost an even parenting time schedule, 50-50 schedule. Then she may still have to pay him something because their incomes
Hmm.
are they're so different that she may have to pay him, right? The court may say
Okay.
no, at a matter of equity, no, but just based on the calculations, she might have to pay him something. He has another baby mom, and after that first child, then you know you do the calculations based on their incomes. There's a thing called multifamily credit that people are able to get now for children that they have with a court order that they have to pay child support, and then without a court order. That's something that's changed with
Okay.
the statute. And I love it. I use it to my client's advantage whenever I can. And a lot of attorneys still don't know about it. They still don't use it, which is crazy. But I make sure that, that's absolutely included, and it allows you to get a percentage of whatever you contribute or what you should be contributing to um, your child with a court order or without a court order. So if you had that first order, and a lot of people, what I've run into now is a lot of people will have old court orders, right? And then
Okay.
they come with the second person, the second child, their court order is much higher than the first child. And you're like, well, how is
Hmm.
that? Well, it's a different time. You're probably making more. Both of your incomes are included. So there's a lot of different things that go into factor with it. So it just depends. It just depends on the
So
situation.
you said the multiple credit order. I'm
Multi
sorry. What
credit.
was that?
the multifamily credit. So basically, child support
Okay.
is calculated based on not just one part. Before it was a percentage of the payor's income. So, for
Right.
example, if me and dad have a child support, I have the kid full time, so he would need to pay me child support. It would be 20%, or depending on how many children I have, the percentage will go up of how much he would need to contribute. Now
Right.
it's not like that. Now you consider his income, you consider my income, and then there's other factors you consider too. So you consider our gross incomes, then you consider, multifamily credit. So if he had another child, he would get credit for that child. Um, if he had a child support order on another child, he would get credit for that child support order. So before it wasn't like that. You would get credit for the child support. Um, you might get credit for the child support order, but you wouldn't get credit if you didn't have a child support order. So that's where it's different now.
Okay. So Tyrone got three baby mamas. He's going to get credit for those other
He's
children.
gonna get credit for other children. Yep. Mhm.
So this is in his benefit.
That's in his benefit. Yep.
Wow. Okay. So it'll lessen the pay of each
Right.
mom.
Right.
I don't think brothers need to hear that.
I mean, if they got a whole bunch of kids, then they need to get credit. Why wouldn't they get credit
Exactly.
for it?
Right. That's the point. I'm being facetious. I know they like, oh man, what? Man, hey,
I
what's
need
the name
credit
of
for that.
that again?
They need credit for that.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's something new right there. I mean, when did that come about? You mean to tell me
When
that's
the
always
statute,
been?
no, when the statute got modified, I believe
Exactly.
that was 2017. Yep.
2017. Okay,
Yep.
brothers. Y'all 3 years out of the loop, man. You may want to go back. Get the
Yep.
credits.
Mhm.
Because I got friends that I'm like, dude, man, I don't know how you do it, but hey, to each his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you gotta. It's a gift and a curse, right? Because even if they might want to get the credits, it depends on what mom's income is important too now, right? Or
Okay.
whoever's non the custodial parent, right? Because it's not
Right.
always. We always say mom, but dads. I have a lot of dads who have possession of their children. So whoever's not the custodial parent, their income is also included now.
Okay. Yeah.
So you have to look at that as well.
I mean, I like that. I like that. So
Yeah, I
that
like
that
it too.
just
I like it too.
right. Yeah, it's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Um, and this is a question that I hear all the time. Um, is there a such thing as back child support?
Like, yeah,
So
there
there
is.
is.
Mhm.
Okay. So a person can say, "Hey, I've been paying her child support for 5 years. I mean, I don't have any documentation, but I've been paying it." And then she say, "They ain't giving me nothing." She can still
You got to
get the
prove
back.
it. You got to prove it.
Gotta prove it, right?
I tell people
So
all the time, stop doing stuff and stop paying child support or money to people without proof. There's so many
right.
ways you can prove it now. You have Cash App, right? You can put a note
Mhm.
in when you send the Cash App saying for this child. You don't got to put child support, but you could say for this child, right? Like if y'all don't have any other ties to each other, then what else would it be for?
Right. And it can
So,
still, right, you're right. So it'll still show up as, like a no-brainer that this was for child support.
right. We got a question. Josh said, is it, hold on. Oh my God, RJ. All right, so Josh said, does it vary from state to state? Yes, Josh, it does vary from state to state. Child support is calculated differently in every state. But child support can also be enforced on the federal level when there is non payment. So the state kind of steps in when people don't pay, and then when it goes across state lines, it becomes a federal issue.
So what happens if someone can't pay child support?
So it depends, right? So I feel like that's the answer
Hmm.
to everything. But so if they can't pay child support, it depends on why they can't pay child support. Um,
Okay.
if there's like a medical reason that they can't pay, they have to show that there's a medical reason that they can't pay, because typically you can't enter a $0 order
Right.
unless there's a reason why, right? If there's medical issues, like the statute will, it delineates the specific reasons why you can't pay. I mean, you can do a $0 order. So it's like medical issues and other things of that nature. Like I've had to argue that. I had a client who the state entered an order against him using some old check stubs, but he wasn't working. And so we had to ask to get that order vacated because we showed that he had medical issues, and the judge vacated the order.
Mm-hmm.
So um, yeah, if you have like medical issues, then there's a zero order. But other than that, say if you're just like, yeah, I'm not working right now, the court will enter, and like you're reasonably not working right now, then the court can enter like a minimal child support order of $40.
Right. A minimum of $40.
A
But
month.
as far as the so it for as far as like the back child support, it'll be a minimum of $40 times whatever.
So if you're saying if it went retroactive, you have to. So
Mhm.
there's, in order for it to go retroactive, or what you call back child support, you have to show, there's some things you have to show. I mean, the statute talks about, usually what happens is if you have people involved and they file the petition, what the judge would do is usually go back to the date of the filing of the petition, because even if you file a petition for child support in court, it's usually not going to get heard the same day, right? Like the person has
Okay.
to have time to respond, you have to exchange financial information and all of those things. So it could be months, it could be a year, it could be time where there's no entry of a child support order. So the judge will usually go back to the date of the filing. So, say if it took a year in order to get a child support order entered, then you're like, okay, judge, well, I want retroactive support back to the date of filing. Um, and so that's when they'll typically go. Some people ask back to the date of birth, and the statute allows
Correct.
for you to do that, but you have to show certain things. You have to show that the child, you had knowledge of the child, and there's different factors that you have to show. But you can get it back to the date of birth if um, if you can show those things. So
Wow. So the bottom line is there's definitely back child support.
yep, yep, for sure. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, because I was talking to someone, I was in a conversation with someone about that, and they mentioned, oh, that's not a thing. That doesn't, there's no such thing as it as back child support. And so I'm like, okay. I mean, this person wasn't an
It's
attorney,
not
so
called that, but we know what that means.
exactly. Right. Right. I mean, that's why it's always best to seek legal counsel.
Absolutely,
You know what I
100%.
mean? And for me, I try to stay within what I know.
Right,
If
right.
I don't know, I'm listen. I will straight up tell you this is my opinion.
Right.
Okay, this isn't my field. I don't have a degree in this or anything, and this is just my opinion.
Right.
But that's why it's important that we talk to our legal professionals to help our people out because they get so much bad information from some guy talking about he was at court and they did
Mhm.
this and they did that and then he didn't even understand what was
Mhm.
really actually
What's
going on.
going
You know what I
on?
mean? He was just in
Mhm.
court looking around.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
So I mean, it's just it's yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, just for me, I'm learning a lot, and as far as a lot of the terms that have just changed and legal
Yeah, a
precedents
lot of
that's
the
really
terms have
changed.
changed. Yeah, a lot of the terms have changed.
Yeah,
A lot of the statutes have changed over the years.
right. So do you cover divorce as well?
I do.
Okay, yep. Couples that they want to call it quits, uh,
Hmm.
and they come see you and so what is the difference between uncontested divorce and I guess a contested divorce?
So uncontested means that they agree. Um,
Okay.
they agree to everything, and they kind of just need somebody to. If they come to an attorney, then they just need somebody to kind of help them get the documents prepared and go through the process with them. But they agree to what the terms are.
Okay.
And a contested divorce is that they don't agree to one or all of the issues.
Right. So the uncontested is a little more smooth sailing than the contested.
Yep, a lot more smooth sailing.
Let me go back to the child support thing real quick because I had a quick question. Um, do you think people should? Do you think people should? Men or women should file for child support, or if they have a good thing going where this guy pays 500 a week or whatever the case is, and he's on time, he never missed. Should they keep that arrangement, or do you think should just protect themselves just in case a situation happens? He gets with somebody else, and they're like, "Hey, you're giving too much money. You need to give less money, or whatever the case may be." Do you think at the end of the day they're not together? It's just best to just file child support.
I think if you got a good thing, honestly, I think if you have a good thing going, then keep a good thing going, right? If you don't have
Okay.
any bumps in the road, you guys are able to co-parent because once you let the court in your business, that's it. Once you open that can of worms, you can't control what comes out. My
Right.
clients can contest to it. Anybody who's been in the court system can contest. Like, you just don't know. You don't have control over what happens. So
Yeah.
I would say if you got a good thing going, just keep your papers and stuff together. I tell men all the time, like, keep your stuff together because they can go, things can change in an instant. If you can't
Right.
co-parent, then you go to court, right? Like, that's the purpose of it. But if you got a good thing going, then keep a good thing going. But always remember, like, anything can happen. So keep your documents in order. Keep, if you're giving money every month, do it in a documented means. Send them money orders. I mean, we don't have to do that anymore. We got Cash App, you got Zelle, you got Quick Pay, you got all types of electronic means. You got Venmo, you got Apple Pay, there's so many ways to send money now. So there's no reason why we can't have it documented and in a place where you can show proof that you sent this money, and you should always keep it that way so that then you can use that.
Now that's a great answer because most lawyers who really don't care, this just out to get paid would have been like, "Hey, you need to file. Come see me. And forget about that arrangement. You need to come see me." But that's a great responsible answer that I'm pretty sure is going to help a lot of people.
I appreciate that. I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm not a person, and it may be stupid of me, but I'm not out for money, right? But I'll always have clients because people will always not be able to get along. So
Right.
I will always have clients, and I will always, money will always come, right? So I don't. That's not my motivator.
Hmm.
And I always tell people I don't want you to see me. Like, I don't. That's, if you have to come see me, that means 9 times out of 10, not always, but 9 times out of 10, that means you can't resolve your problems. So
Right.
something is going on where it's causing discord and dysfunction because attorneys can be expensive. Once you come
Exactly.
see me, you're gonna have to pay some money, right? Like,
Right.
in most cases, minimum 3,000,
Right.
right? So that's a minimum amount. It can go 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. It can get up
Right.
there. So I would prefer that you don't have to have me in your life, that you don't have to have, you know, the court system in your life. Like, I would prefer that. And if it's working, then let it keep working.
That's great. I'm gonna go back to divorce and ask you about alimony because I've been seeing a lot of men
Mm,
like, listen, I need mine, and I'm filing for it, man. Hey, it's
a lot of
legal.
men do file for it. I have
Right.
had a lot of women clients who've had to pay. So,
Really.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
So that brings me to this question, and it was a question that I had asked um, attorney Kendra Spearman, and it was a prenuptial question, and she was like, "Well, you probably should ask attorney Scott that question."
I heard they were deferring a lot of questions to me. That's what they told me.
Right. It was on the live, right? And so I'm like, man, you're gonna bust me out like that on live? Oh man. No, I'm just kidding. But actually I asked her, I was like, well, if there's a prenup, is there a postnup?
So there's typically not two different documents. So typically it's you either do a prenuptial agreement, or if you don't have a prenuptial agreement, then you get a postnup agreement.
Right.
Some
So
people may be able to modify their prenuptial agreement, during the divorce. I mean, they're
mhm.
not during the marriage, right? Like if you find something that's different, you can modify it, but add a addendum to it. Just like it's just a contract. That's all it is. So
Okay.
just like with any contract, you can modify them by agreements. You can, add addendums to them. You can take things away, whatever. It's a contract.
But there's a such thing as a postnup.
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't have a prenup, I can call you up and say, hey, attorney, I think I'm gonna need a postnup.
Yep.
Okay. Do you recommend prenups and
Yes.
postnups?
Yes.
You do.
I do.
Okay. Sort of like car insurance.
Yep. Life insurance, right? You don't need it,
Right,
but you want to
exactly.
insure it. Yeah.
Right,
I highly. It would clean up a lot. I'm telling you, divorces can be really expensive. I don't think people get
exactly. But
that. So,
that's why I'm asking. You know what I mean? That's what I'm asking is the prenup and the
yeah.
postnup piece, so that if this happens, this divorce happens, this if it happens, and it
Then you've
happens
already dealt
sometimes.
with a lot of the issues. And the thing is, you got to get somebody who knows how to draft it because,
Exactly.
yeah, you got to get somebody who knows how to draft it because
So
if
someone
not, then it
asks,
can be invalidated.
it can be exactly. That's why they want to come and see Attorney Scott.
Of
Someone
course.
just asked, is there a difference?
Between a prenup and a postnuptial agreement?
I'm trying to see. Can I share this? Kevin, yes, you can share this on your page. Definitely, please do. Uh, State Representative Marcus Evans in the house. How you doing, my brother? Peggy Jackson, that's my mama. Oh man, I gotta watch what I say.
Your mama know you.
Right. She's like, yeah, I know you, boy. But someone asked, is there a
Is there a
difference?
difference? So I'm assuming it's between the prenup and the. Okay, yeah, Josh. Yes. Well, no. So the only difference is one is done before the marriage and one is done after. So prenuptial agreements are done before you get married, and postnuptial agreements are done after.
Right. But they still both have the
They
same.
both have the same kind. They have the same purpose, right?
Okay. And you definitely, support getting either or.
100%.
So all of the pastors and ministers out there watching, you need to add this in your
So
marriage
your congregation.
ministry. Exactly, in your marriage ministry counseling sessions, you need to
Yes,
be
make
like,
it a
yo, before y'all
requirement.
do this, you guys need to get a prenup and whatnot.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
so yeah. Hey, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's life. It's life. Any other
It
questions
is.
we
It
have?
is.
Right? I mean, it's how much around about just a ballpark figure, you know, how much is a prenup or a postnup?
Depends.
Depends on
Um.
like assets and whatnot and
Right.
research and how long it's going to take to get it together.
Right. Right. I always tell people. I tell people in every case. It's your case, right? So I know people sometimes I've seen like people leave reviews on other attorneys' pages and say they made me do all this work. And I'm like, a lot of the footwork we need you to do because it's your case. I can do it, but it's gonna
Right,
cost you, right?
right,
Like everything I do, I pick up the phone, I'm charging. I go to an email, I'm charging, right? So The more footwork you do for me, you lay the foundation, I can build the house. So
Gotcha.
it just depends. If you bring me all of your assets and list of your assets and things like that, and I don't have to keep coming back and forth. Some attorneys do it on flat fees. Just depends on the assets, right? Like if it's a simple prenup, it could be anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000, right? But if it's a lot of assets that you got to kind of delve through and look at the values of and things like that, it can be a little more expensive.
Right. Because I got
Yeah.
100 pair of Jordans that if this thing
I
don't
mean,
work
they're
out, I want you
valued.
to take it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jordans run, especially which ones you have. They can run some
Right.
good money over there. So that's all important. I tell people you got to include everything.
Yeah.
You have to include everything. And I think what happens is when people start thinking about that stuff, they think, well, they find out a lot of people are hiding things that because you have to disclose everything, right? Like if you
Hmm.
don't disclose everything, then that can invalidate the prenuptial agreement.
You're right.
So you
You're
got to keep this
absolutely right.
thing tight,
Right.
So you start figuring out who this person is. They got to disclose all their debts. Um, yes, Shakita, I am doing consultations. You have to disclose all your debts, all of your
Accounts.
assets, and then everything. You
Right.
got to disclose everything. So that's that's kind of what that's kind of what gets people. I think that's what kind of shakes up the pot a little bit because you realize you didn't really know the person that you were dealing with. I think that's why people
Right.
kind of shy away from them. But I think it's important. You want to know everything about the person that you're getting in bed with, literally and figuratively, right?
Right.
So,
Hiding that account in the Caymans and then they come out in a divorce, it just might get wiped out.
right, yeah,
Yeah. Let
yeah,
me see if we have another question. Oh, you answered consultations.
yes, yes. And I know
Oh,
you allow me a chance to provide my information at the end. So,
yes, indeed. Yes, ma'am. You have anything else you want to add?
I don't
No? All
know.
right, guys. So for um, child allocation, right? Cases, not
Sure, Jim.
child support. You guys need help with child support. You guys need help with child custody, child allocation, divorce,
Yes,
prenup,
sir.
postnup,
For sure. Definitely.
right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Uh,
Yeah.
call, direct message, attorney Nicole Scott. And how can they get in contact with you?
You can visit my website at N as in Nicole, M as in Mary, S as in Scott, familylaw.com. You can also give us a call, 708-794-6566. You can follow us on Instagram at NMS Family Law. You can find us on Facebook at NMS Family Law. You can Google my name. All of this information should pop up. Nicole M. Scott. Yes,
Awesome.
we are
And you
we are doing
cover,
consults.
you're doing consultations.
Yes, sir.
And you cover Chicago, Cook County.
Yes, so we do Cook County primarily, but we do the collar counties as well. Will
Okay.
County, DuPage County,
Oh,
Lake
awesome.
County.
Right. Sounds good. Okay, attorney. I'm gonna let you get to your supper.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
me.
joining us. All right. Have a good
Anytime,
evening.
Jim. You too.
Okay.
All right.
Right. Bye. All right, guys. That was attorney Nicole M. Scott. And definitely call her, send her a direct message, um, and visit her website. And she's doing consultations. And so she's here to help you. She's here to help us, our community. A lot of times, we go to other attorneys of other backgrounds, and they don't understand our background. You know what I mean? They don't understand the nuances of being black and how we feel about being in the courtroom. And so when you have a black attorney, African American attorney, who's able to help you and make you feel comfortable and not make you feel shame, um, not make you feel embarrassment, but who's able to help you through tough times in your life. And we all go through them. It's just part of life. And this is what attorneys like Nicole M. Scott is here to do. So definitely send her a direct message, call her office, view her on Facebook, Instagram, and hey, she's here to help you. So someone said one custody for my son. Okay, one custody for my son. So definitely, guys, just if you just tuned on to this video, it's ending, and we just ended our conversation with attorney Nicole Scott. But the video will be saved, so you can always go back, rewind it, and watch it, get the information. And thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the Democratic convention and enjoy the NBA playoffs. All right, guys, keep the faith.